This woman handles private crises, entering homes under different identities to solve hidden troubles normal law cannot. And now, one trapped wife needs everything back. The wife told her that she married her boyfriend for love, even though her wealthy parents had never accepted this ordinary man. After graduation, her husband joined her father's company, gained trust, then changed once her parents died and left him control. Soon his mother and sister bullied her every day, while the husband stood aside and slowly gaslighted her into breaking. Hearing this, the handler saw the pattern. Her husband and his family wanted to take her money, power, and self-worth. Without hesitation, the handler gave 3 steps. Strike back at his mother and sister, reclaim her assets, gather proof of his gaslighting, then divorce and leave him with nothing. But the wife had been crushed into feeling worthless, because her husband once claimed divorced women were unwanted. So the handler reminded her that she was the true master of this home, and a parasitic family could not define her worth. Moved by those words, the wife hired her, even offering $1.5 million bracelet up front, plus $3 million after success. However, the handler refused the bracelet, saying payment could wait until she helped the wife become master again. Then she presented a private crisis contract, planning to enter as the wife private housekeeper and help her take back everything. The wife signed without hesitation. The wife described them. Her mother-in-law was controlling, while his sister showed off, took her things without permission, and stayed over each Wednesday. Just then, the wife realized the trouble was already at the door, because they were coming today. Once inside, the mother-in-law immediately questioned the housekeeper, and claimed she controlled everything in the home. But the handler calmly answered that only the wife was her boss, which instantly challenged the older woman's authority. Just then, his sister noticed the bracelet on the wife's wrist, grabbed it, and claimed it belonged to her now. So the handler calmly called it home invasion theft, then asked the wife if they should call the police. His sister immediately insulted her for interfering, but the handler made it simple. Taking property without permission was theft, and protecting the wife was her duty. Then the handler told the mother-in-law to discipline her vulgar servants first, or she could do it for her. Then the handler slapped her across the face without hesitation, forcing her to kneel and apologize to the wife. With pressure closing in, the sister-in-law lost her confidence and desperately asked her mother to protect her. The handler pressed harder, pretending she had just learned the woman was her daughter. She called it home robbery, and offered to discipline her herself. When the mother-in-law tried to stop her, the handler slapped her anyway, and warned that stealing valuables could mean detention or prison. Just then, the husband returned. His sister immediately pretended to be innocent, claiming she only touched the bracelet before being accused of theft. The husband immediately started gaslighting her, brushing off the bracelet, calling the wife petty, and forcing her to give it to his sister. The wife's housekeeper saw through his gaslighting. He kept twisting the issue, making the wife look unreasonable instead. The housekeeper removed a tiny camera from her clothes, and told the wife she had recorded the bracelet being snatched. If they called the police now, this was real evidence. Then the husband claimed he was the owner of this home and ordered her out. But the housekeeper asked if he truly knew whose home this was. But the husband kept gaslighting the wife, ordering her to fire the housekeeper, reflect on herself, and give the bracelet to his sister. Then the husband said he had closed a big order today and wanted to take his mother and sister out for dinner. The wife wanted to follow, but the housekeeper stopped her, warning it would only make the husband's family look down on her more. After learning their relatives would soon gather for dinner, the housekeeper prepared to take the bracelet back in front of everyone. On the day of the family dinner, the husband's sister showed off the bracelet, claiming the wife gave her the $1.5 million birthday gift. Then the housekeeper interrupted her, saying it was the wife's mother's keepsake with no gift record. Since it was so valuable, she asked for a gift contract or transfer proof. Then the housekeeper presented the invoice and certificate, proving the bracelet legally belonged to the wife. Next, the housekeeper showed the full video of his sister snatching the wife bracelet without permission. His sister panicked and claimed the wife had already agreed to give her the bracelet. So the housekeeper asked the wife directly, and the wife said she never agreed, because it was her mother's keepsake. His relatives immediately mocked her earlier showing off. They really thought it was a gift, only to learn she had snatched it. Then the housekeeper told everyone that stealing valuable property without consent could legally mean more than 10 years in prison, or even life. His sister denied stealing, but the housekeeper pressed harder, saying the evidence was clear. She could return the bracelet, or be taken by police in front of the relatives. The husband was carefully feeding the wife at the table, but seeing this, his sister immediately exploded, angrily questioning why he was suddenly treating the wife so well and feeding her. Then his mother reminded him that yesterday he had promised to make the wife apologize to his sister and set rules for her. The wife's housekeeper walked over and slapped both women, making his sister angrily question why she had not been driven out yet. Then the wife's housekeeper ordered them to apologize to the wife, but they thought they outranked her, refused, and demanded to know what was going on. Just then, the wife softly said it was fine if they refused, but her bad mood might affect the baby. Hearing this, the husband immediately stood up and ordered his mother and sister to apologize to the wife. His sister was stunned and thought something was wrong with him, but the husband clearly said she took the wife bracelet first, and was now pushing too hard, so she had to apologize. When his sister demanded a reason, the husband revealed the wife was pregnant, instantly changing the entire power balance. The mother-in-law was excited about a grandchild, yet still belittled the wife and acted like pregnancy meant nothing. But the husband insisted this was his child. So his mother and sister had to apologize no matter what. But his sister and mother still refused to apologize, even after the husband kept pressuring them. Under the housekeeper's silent cue, the wife suddenly held her stomach, pretending emotional stress had made the pregnancy unstable. Under pressure, the husband threatened to send his mother and sister away unless they apologized to the wife. Forced into a corner, his mother and sister finally apologized, but the wife pretended she had not heard clearly and asked them to speak louder. When they accused the wife of pushing too far, she held her stomach again, pretending the pain worsened. So the husband slapped his sister and demanded an apology. Left with no choice, his sister apologized loudly and finally admitted she knew she was wrong. But the housekeeper said words were not enough. They had to leave a promise and obediently serve tea to the wife. Then the housekeeper recorded their promise on her phone, making them admit the wife was the true master of this home. Just then, the husband left to answer a call, and his mother and sister immediately turned on the wife, accusing her of driving them apart from him. The wife calmly admitted it. Then they rushed forward to attack her, but the housekeeper stopped them before they could touch her. When the mother-in-law rushed in to attack too, the housekeeper easily dodged her and kept the wife protected. Just then, the husband returned while looking down at his phone. The housekeeper released his sister, who rushed over and grabbed the wife's neck. Seeing this, the husband immediately pulled his sister aside and accused her of bullying the wife again. His mother and sister tried to blame the housekeeper, but she calmly said she had recorded the evidence. After seeing what happened, the husband ordered his mother and sister to leave until the wife safely gave birth. The husband personally dragged them out, and the wife never expected he would really drive his own family away. But the housekeeper knew the truth. He never stood with anyone, only with whatever served his interests. After the parasites were driven out, they could begin step 2. To recover her money and power, the housekeeper said they had to start with company finances. She revealed the husband had built shell companies under his mother and sister names to secretly move the wife family assets. The housekeeper told the wife she had an auditor friend who could investigate the company finances, then immediately called him for help. After being sent away, his mother and sister realized the child would ruin their position, so they secretly planned to stop the birth. Later, the housekeeper found evidence that the husband had transferred part of the wife assets into shell companies under his mother and sister names. Just then, the husband called for the wife, so the housekeeper quickly ended the talk, warning he would get suspicious if they stayed together too long. When the husband came upstairs, the wife explained that she was only discussing parenting knowledge with the housekeeper. But as he left, he seemed suspicious, telling the wife to include him next time she discussed parenting with the housekeeper. Early in the morning, the husband skipped work and stayed beside the wife, pretending nothing mattered more than her and the baby. Just then, the husband's sister arrived with chicken soup, claiming she had realized her mistake and wanted to sincerely apologize to the wife. After entering, she proudly said the chicken soup used expensive herbs and old hen, specially made to nourish the wife and benefit her body. She urged the wife to drink it hot. The housekeeper noticed something wrong, but still told the wife to drink, since her period had come today. Following the housekeeper cue, the wife drank a few sips, and his sister looked pleased, thinking her plan worked, until the housekeeper knocked the bowl away. Then the housekeeper found saffron in the soup, explaining that a pregnant woman could miscarry after drinking it. Hearing this, the wife immediately played along with the housekeeper's story and clutched her stomach in pain. The wife pretended her stomach was in severe pain, and the husband instantly panicked, desperate to send her to the hospital. While his sister secretly felt pleased, the housekeeper collected the chicken soup bowl as evidence, warning this was assault and could become attempted murder if the baby suffered. His sister tried to snatch the evidence back, but the housekeeper directly called the police, reporting that someone had attempted assault here. The housekeeper reminded her that begging was useless, because the real question was whether her brother and sister-in-law believed her. His sister immediately chased after the husband, begging him to forgive her, and insisting she never meant to hurt the wife. Seeing this chance, the housekeeper told the husband she would take the wife to the hospital, leaving him to talk with his sister. In the car, the wife panicked that a real hospital visit would expose the fake pregnancy, but the housekeeper stayed calm. The housekeeper told her to claim a miscarriage and use the sister crime as leverage to recover property. Back home, the husband found his sister searching for evidence, and she begged him to help find what the housekeeper had taken, terrified of prison. The husband scolded her, saying she had not made a small mistake this time, but had harmed his unborn child. His sister said they could simply have another child and it was no big deal, so the husband angrily slapped her. He angrily told his sister that losing the child meant he would never get the wife family fortune. He warned that if the child was gone, he would personally send his own sister to prison. But after she cried, he softened and admitted, he still could not truly send his own sister away. Soon the wife returned from the hospital looking weak and crying silently, while the housekeeper told the husband she needed rest first. Back in the room, the wife finally told the husband their baby was gone because his sister had drugged the soup. The wife said she would sue his sister, and the husband first acted furious, claiming the sister must pay. However, he quickly changed his tone, defending his sister as young and careless, instead of truly guilty. The wife questioned whether he truly cared about his own child at all. He immediately claimed he was heartbroken over the lost baby, but still told the wife he could not send his own sister to prison. Then the wife told him the child they had just lost was a boy. Then the wife called the housekeeper and asked if the evidence against his sister was sealed. The housekeeper confirmed it could send her to prison anytime. The husband asked the housekeeper to leave, saying he needed to talk with the wife, while the housekeeper signaled her to follow the plan. Once alone, the husband begged the wife to forgive his sister, saying an apology was enough. But she said his sister had to go to prison. The husband immediately turned against her, arguing that even sending his sister to prison would not bring the child back. The wife finally asked whether she was his wife, a life, or just a stepping stone to climb higher. When he said she had changed, the wife refused to keep swallowing everything and insisted she would sue to the end. The husband finally asked what condition would make her stop suing his sister. The wife told him he had to unconditionally give her every asset under his name, including funds, stocks, and real estate. He hesitated, sensing the wife was different from before, but decided to agree first and fool her for now. After he agreed, the wife ordered him to cancel his sister's secondary card. His sister had to find a job and stop living off her money. He had no choice but to agree. Then the wife demanded the company money invested through his mother's name be recovered and returned. For his sister, the husband had no choice but to accept every demand, and the wife's real counterattack finally began. The mother-in-law brought her daughter over, pretending to blame herself and care about the wife, but the wife had already seen through their tricks. Then the husband announced the first decision. He had canceled his sister's secondary credit card and told her to work and support herself. Before they could accept it, he announced the second decision. His mother would no longer receive any equity dividends. Hearing this, his mother and sister immediately cursed the wife, blaming her for making the husband abandon his own family. Then the mother-in-law pretended she could not live anymore, while his sister rushed to choke the wife, but the housekeeper stopped her. The husband finally lost patience, told them to shut up, and accused them of only making ugly scenes. The wife said the weather was nice and asked the housekeeper to take her out, leaving space for the husband to talk with his family. Outside, the wife thought things were almost settled, but the housekeeper said the husband's promises were only verbal and had no legal effect yet. So the housekeeper moved to the next step, deciding to take the wife to inspect company accounts, but the wife worried the husband would stop her. The housekeeper said the husband was busy with his mother and sister, then revealed a hidden will clause. Though he controlled operations, the wife was the largest shareholder, so inspecting accounts was reasonable. Back home, his mother and sister begged him not to really cut off their money. The husband blamed his mother for indulging his sister, saying her reckless mistake had left him trapped and passive. Then he exposed his real plan, using shell companies under their names to transfer assets. Only half was moved, and if his sister went to prison, everything would be exposed. Then he told them his promise to the wife was only verbal, not legally binding. Her parents will require a child before he could inherit. Then he angrily blamed his sister for causing the miscarriage and making his inheritance plan much harder. Soon, the wife arrived at the company saying that as the largest shareholder, she wanted to inspect the financial reports. The financial director tried to stall, but the wife's housekeeper calmly asked if he needed time to make fake accounts. The financial director had no choice but to ask the receptionist to take the wife to the meeting room. Then the director immediately called the husband, who realized the wife's recent strange behavior had been waiting for a chance to fight back. Moments later, the husband rushed over and questioned why she came to the company, while the wife calmly said she was there to inspect accounts. Then the wife's housekeeper told the husband that shareholders legally had the right to inspect accounting books on site, and presented a written request. When he refused, the housekeeper warned they could sue for shareholder information rights and report him to investigators. Under pressure, the husband agreed, but secretly told the financial director to hide the suspicious accounts. When the housekeeper asked the financial director for transfer approval records, he claimed they had been archived and could not be found. The housekeeper warned him that helping hide illegal transfers could make him an accomplice in the crime. The director finally agreed to cooperate, and the wife realized the evidence could recover assets and send the husband to prison for embezzlement. The husband brought over several approval forms and mocked the wife, assuming she could not understand them. But the wife decided to review them herself, saying she had recently studied business management for this moment. Moments later, the housekeeper found several large transfers going to shell companies and demanded an explanation from the husband. He immediately pushed the blame onto the financial director, claiming he only approved signatures and never knew they were shell companies. The financial director quickly said those companies might have been shut down later because of poor management. The housekeeper reminded the director that giving false testimony could bring criminal responsibility. The husband interrupted her, accusing the housekeeper of having no right to investigate, then blamed the wife for disrupting normal company operations. After the husband called security, the housekeeper chose to leave first, saying they would follow formal third-party audit procedures next. After leaving, the housekeeper revealed she had expected his defense and installed surveillance at home. The audit was meant to make his family reveal his real plan. The surveillance showed the husband admitting that once the wife gave birth, her family shares could finally become his. He also revealed his plan. He had to have a child with the wife, so he could slowly devour all her family assets. His mother then suggested finding another woman to give him a child and forcing the wife to recognize it. Just then, the husband prepared to leave for the company, and his mother told his sister to find a woman, give him a child, and take the wife family assets. The wife realized that if the husband cheated during marriage, divorce would be easier, and he could lose everything much faster. Then the housekeeper told the wife they could help his mother and sister by choosing a woman the husband once pursued as bait. The husband asked why she came to the company without telling him first. The wife calmly asked if he wanted to warn his relatives to fool her. The husband accused her of making trouble at the company, while his uncle lectured her that women had to be gentle and considerate to keep a man. When the husband tried taking her home, the housekeeper exposed him for living off her and placing useless relatives in high positions. Employees immediately began mocking those relatives' incompetence, even laughing that they could not use computers. The embarrassed husband ordered people to throw the housekeeper out, but the wife stopped them and said it was not slander, but fact. Then the wife announced that the company belonged to her father, and she would take back all business from today. The husband mocked her lack of management skills and accused her of embarrassing him by coming without warning. But she asked why entering her own company required telling him. The husband claimed he had saved the company, reminding the wife that her wealthy life was all provided by him. But the wife reminded him that everything she had was already hers, not something he had provided. The husband told her to manage the company herself, warning her not to beg him when problems came, then tried leaving with his relatives. But the wife stopped them, saying the illegal reimbursements and kickbacks still had not been settled. Moments later, the wife asked whether the accounts were ready, but the financial director claimed the company's system was broken. But the housekeeper had already prepared the data, telling everyone the illegal reimbursements totaled nearly $9 million. The employees were shocked that those relatives had embezzled so much money after only 1 year at the company. Then the housekeeper asked whether they would repay it now, or wait for the police to recover it. His relatives panicked and begged him for help, but the husband ordered them to return the money within 5 workdays. After the confrontation ended, the wife held an internal meeting, knowing she had to understand the company's situation as quickly as possible. That night, the housekeeper reminded her that the husband had given shares to many relatives, so driving them out was far from enough. To uproot the husband's family completely, the wife decided to hold a shareholder meeting in a few days. Meanwhile, at home, the husband admitted the wife had become bolder, but said the real trouble was the housekeeper beside her. Then his sister said she had hired a private detective to investigate the housekeeper, claiming she was a fraudster trying to scam the wife out of money. The husband believed it. Just then, his mother brought in the beautician as a surprise, and she claimed she had already quit her job. The next day, the housekeeper's friend told her the husband's family was investigating her, and he had already fed his sister half-true information. Her ally also found evidence that the husband moved money to shell companies and overseas accounts with the financial director help. Then the housekeeper said it was time to close the trap, because that family had been arrogant for too long. Soon the wife and housekeeper came to the company, and the financial director brought quarterly orders needing her payment approval. But the housekeeper questioned him about many abnormal transactions from past years, all approved by him and sent to shell companies or overseas accounts. The financial director said he only followed the husband's orders, but the housekeeper told him to think it over, warning prison was not worth it, and said the wife would give him a chance to redeem himself. After the financial director left, the wife wondered if he would stand with them, but the housekeeper knew he would only stand with profit. Then the wife reviewed company contracts and discovered several were near expiration with no progress, risking huge penalties. Then the wife remembered her father's former partners could save those projects and avoid penalties, so the housekeeper suggested bringing them back. Moments later, the wife brought the housekeeper to ask her father's former business partner for help, but the former partner questioned whether she could still manage the company after staying away from work for years. The wife explained she had removed the husband's allies, replaced management, gathered evidence of his asset transfers, and would soon divorce him with nothing. Meanwhile, at home, the husband mocked the wife, telling the beautician he had set business traps, planned to drain her company and trust fund, then divorce her and marry the beautician. But he never knew the beautician was working with the wife. When she pretended to feel insecure, he promised to buy her a big house immediately. Just then, his mother came in and objected, saying the beautician was not even pregnant yet, but the husband said it was his own business. At this moment, his sister said she would go with them too, and help him take a look at the house. The wife called the police, reporting that massive company assets had been transferred out through someone abusing their position. The husband immediately pointed at the financial director, saying he handled those transfers and should explain everything clearly. The husband thought the financial director would take the blame, but he told police the husband ordered it, and he had transaction records and chat evidence. Before being taken away, the furious husband threatened everyone, then quietly told his sister to find the mistress and bail him out. Afterward, employees praised the wife for clearing out so many parasites, but realized she had not divorced him yet, so half the company might still go to him. Later, the mistress used all her savings to bail him out, but he never knew the wife arranged her, while he still planned to gain more property from the wife. Meanwhile, the wife and housekeeper planned to send the husband to prison and fight the divorce case until he left with nothing. Just then, the mistress sent a message, saying she had bailed the husband out and wanted them to catch the affair. Moments later, the mistress deliberately brought him into the wife's bedroom, saying it felt more exciting there, while waiting for the wife to catch them. The husband admitted he had waited 10 years for this moment. She said she had waited too, but secretly meant the day she could help the wife make him leave with nothing. Just then, the wife entered the room with the housekeeper, recording everything, and the husband instantly panicked. The husband immediately claimed the beautician had seduced him, but she said she truly loved him, was pregnant with his child, and begged the wife to let them be together. The husband immediately denied touching her, then shamelessly claimed he had only loved the wife from beginning to end. The wife asked if he believed his own lies, then said this affair evidence would make him leave with nothing. The husband accused the wife of using the evidence to threaten him, but she calmly said it was not a threat. It was enough to throw him out. The husband accused the wife of wanting a divorce long ago, saying she brought in the housekeeper just to push him out. The beautician pretended to celebrate that they could finally be together, but the husband shoved her away. Then the husband started kicking the beautician, blaming her for talking nonsense, and one kick hit her stomach hard enough to make her bleed. Seeing the blood, the wife called an ambulance, while the housekeeper restrained the husband and said the evidence could add years in prison. Moments later, the police took him away, and the housekeeper handed over the assault video. But he claimed the wife would never sue him over an affair after years together. The housekeeper caught the flaw in his words. He had finally admitted cheating, giving them another piece of evidence for divorce with nothing. Later, the wife asked why the beautician deliberately provoked him by claiming pregnancy just to make him attack her. The beautician asked how many years he would get. The housekeeper said the asset evidence was enough, and the assault could push his sentence beyond 10 years. The wife asked why she foolishly let him hit her, since the asset crime was already enough to sentence him. But the beautician told the wife she only wanted him to commit more crimes and stay in prison for more years. The beautician angrily said the husband ruined her life, leaving her without a degree and trapped in factories and restaurants. She worked 12 hours standing each day, endured harassment from customers and staff, and lived without dignity for years. That was why she hated him. The wife and housekeeper comforted her, saying she could still start over and should not give up on herself. After hearing her story, the housekeeper said her company needed an assistant, then offered to send her back to school first and hire her after graduation. The wife also told her that her company would always welcome her. Just then, his mother and sister arrived, accusing the wife and housekeeper of pushing the beautician to sue the husband. Then they arrogantly told the beautician they would allow her to marry into the family, as long as she issued a forgiveness letter. The beautician refused reconciliation, saying that man had ruined her life so badly, she would insist on suing him. They threatened to make the beautician unable to stay in this city, then tried to attack her, but the housekeeper stopped them in time. Then his mother realized the wife and beautician were working together, and arrogantly told her she could pay double the wife price. The housekeeper mocked that they had no money left, and his sister finally realized the beautician was arranged by the wife to trap her brother. When they tried to attack, the housekeeper fought back, then ordered them to get out immediately. The husband's sister secretly asked a man to find several attackers for the wife's housekeeper, hoping she would not survive the night, unaware he was the housekeeper friend. After hearing the housekeeper name, the man hesitated, but the husband's sister immediately pressured him with money to get it done quickly. She transferred her private savings, still dreaming that once the housekeeper was gone, the wife money would become theirs. Soon the sister called the housekeeper out, accused her of being a fraud who deceived the wife, and questioned why she entered their home. The housekeeper calmly said she came to help the wife drive the parasites out. Furious, his sister ordered him to bring attackers, beat her, and dump her into the sea. Just then, the police arrived, and the man beside her immediately said she had tried hiring killers, showing chat records and transfer proof. After his sister was taken down, the housekeeper calmly celebrated, saying only the wife's mother-in-law was left now. Later, the wife visited the husband in prison with the divorce papers, but he still humiliated her, claiming divorced women were unwanted. The wife reminded him to worry about himself. He would divorce with nothing, serve at least 10 years, and her lawyer would fight for an even heavier sentence. The husband agreed to divorce and leave with nothing, saying he would settle with the beautician, then begged the wife to spare him from prison for their years of marriage. But the wife told him he had ruined the beautician too badly for reconciliation, and that she provoked him only to make his sentence heavier. The husband completely collapsed, while the wife told him that after spending half his life climbing over women, he should spend the rest reflecting in prison. Just then, his mother thought her daughter had already removed the wife's housekeeper. Believing the wife was no match alone, she rushed out to stop her. His mother said she would not allow the divorce, claiming the housekeeper was gone, then demanded the wife kneel, apologize, and transfer the company and money to her son. She even ordered the wife to give her son 2 boys within 2 years, or he could find another woman outside. The wife said she was not their puppet, and even without the housekeeper she could still handle their family. Just then, the housekeeper appeared, exposing that her daughter had been arrested for hiring attackers, and was even brought there in custody. Police confirmed the daughter was suspected of hiring people for kidnapping, with solid evidence, and took her away despite the mother's pleading. The mother threatened to sell houses and borrow money for the best lawyer to save her son and daughter, but the wife calmly wished her success. Soon his mother came to the house planning to sell it, but the agent told her the wife had already listed the property. The agent asked her to show proof if it was hers, then reminded her not to treat someone else's property as her own. The buyer announced he had bought the house and warned the mother not to cause trouble there again. After losing her son, daughter, and the house, the mother finally collapsed, not knowing where to turn. Just as she planned to go back and find help for her children, she stepped on a bottle, fell down, and never got up again. Later, the wife saw news that the mother-in-law had died on the street, and the housekeeper comforted her, saying it had nothing to do with her. The beautician said it was deserved consequences, then went to prepare dinner. At dinner, everyone celebrated their victory, rebirth, careers, and brighter future together. After dinner, the wife wanted to renew the service contract forever, but the housekeeper said she had taken everything back and now had to move forward herself. The wife said the housekeeper had become more than a housekeeper, but also her assistant, mentor, and friend, so she could not bear to see her leave. The housekeeper told her she had escaped the mud and risen, but many other women still needed her help even more. Soon the next case arrived. A wife suffered long-term domestic violence. Her husband's family protected him, and she urgently needed help with her 5-year-old daughter. The housekeeper knew this world held too many impossible family traps, and her job was to become the answer and fix everything. The story ends here. Thanks for watching.